Stop scrolling for just a moment. This isn't random. This message found you for a reason. Earlier today, something quiet and beautiful happened, and it was about you. Not in a loud room, not in a dramatic setting, but in a simple, honest conversation. Your name came up, gently, naturally. And the way it was spoken, it carried something deeper than just words. It carried feeling. Someone spoke about you today. Not to impress anyone, not to create a story, just truthfully. And what they said might be something your heart has been waiting to hear for a long time. They said, you're different. Not in the way that demands attention, not in a way that tries too hard, but in a way that feels rare. They said you have a calm energy, the kind that makes people feel safe without you even trying, the kind that doesn't need to prove anything to anyone. They talked about how you listen, really listen, not just to respond, but to understand. They noticed how you think before you speak, how your words carry weight because they come from somewhere real. And then they paused. And in that pause, something shifted. They smiled. Not a loud smile, not exaggerated, just a quiet, genuine smile that said more than anything else could. And then they said something they didn't even plan to say. There's something about them that feels like home. Let that sit with you for a second. Home. Not perfect, not fantasy, not something temporary, but steady, safe, real. They didn't say you're flawless. They didn't put you on some unrealistic pedestal. What made it powerful is that they see you as you are, and they still feel drawn to you. They talked about your kindness, the way you show up even when no one notices, the way you carry your strength quietly, the way you keep going even when life hasn't been easy. And here's the part that changed everything for them. They said they feel like themselves around you. No pressure, no pretending, no masks, just real. Do you understand how rare that is? In a world where people are constantly trying to impress, perform, and protect themselves, you make someone feel safe enough to just exist as they are. That's not common. That's something people search for years. And today, while talking about you, they realized something they hadn't fully admitted to themselves before. You matter to them, more than they expected, more than they planned. And once that realization hits, it doesn't just go away, it grows. After that conversation ended, they didn't just move on like nothing happened. They sat with it. They thought about you. They replayed moments, small ones you probably forgot about. The way you laughed, the way you responded to something simple, the way your presence felt easy. And then it became clear to them. You're not just someone they enjoy talking to. You're someone they're starting to care about deeply. They opened their phone. Your name was there. And for the first time, they didn't overthink it. They didn't hesitate the way they usually do. Instead, they felt something new. Clarity. Not loud, not overwhelming, just steady and certain. They're no longer asking themselves if you matter. Now they're wondering how to show you. That's a big shift, because when someone moves from confusion to intention, everything begins to change. They're starting to notice the little things more. The way your words stay with them longer than expected. The way your presence lingers even after the conversation ends. You're becoming their first thought in small moments. When something good happens, they think of telling you. When they hear a song, they wonder if you'd like it. When they imagine something peaceful, you're there. Not as a question, but as someone who belongs. And that realization surprised them because it didn't feel forced. It felt natural, right. They even caught themselves imagining something simple, sitting next to you. No big event, no perfect setting, just a quiet moment, side by side. And somehow,
That felt more meaningful than anything else. That's when it hit them. This isn't just attraction. This isn't just curiosity. This is something deeper, something steady, something real. They didn't say it out loud, not yet. But when someone jokingly asked if they were falling for you, they didn't deny it. They didn't laugh it off. They just smiled and stayed quiet. And sometimes silence says everything. Because deep down, they're starting to know the truth. They are falling for you. Slowly, gently, but undeniably. And here's what matters most. They're not rushing it. They're not trying to force something. They're letting it grow the way real things do. With time, with care, with intention. They're beginning to protect this connection even before it has a label. Not in a controlling way, but in a way that shows they value it. They don't want misunderstandings to ruin it. They don't want distance to create confusion. They don't want something this rare to fade. And that's important, because when someone decides they don't want something to fade, they start showing up differently, more consistently, more honestly, more intentionally. They're already starting to shift. You might notice it soon, in the way they talk to you, in the way they respond, in the effort they put in. It won't be dramatic, it won't be overwhelming, but it will be real. And real always feels different, because now it's no longer just about what they feel. It's about what they're choosing. And quietly, deeply, they're choosing you. Even at the moments when you doubt yourself, even when you wonder if you're enough, even when you question your worth, they are seeing something in you that feels rare, steady, and meaningful. And that's not something they're willing to ignore anymore. Something beautiful was said about you today. But what's even more powerful is what's about to be shown to you. Because this story isn't just about feelings anymore. It's about action. And soon, you won't just hear it indirectly. You'll feel it directly, in a way that leaves no confusion, in a way that feels calm, clear, and undeniable. So don't rush this. Don't overthink it. Just stay present, because something real is unfolding. And this time, it's not temporary. It's something that's meant to stay.
Stop right here for a second, because what happened next changes everything. After everything they realized about you, after all those quiet thoughts, those small moments replaying in their mind, something inside them shifted in a way they couldn't ignore anymore. This wasn't just feelings anymore. This became a decision. Not a loud one, not something they announced to the world, but a quiet, steady choice forming deep in their heart. They chose not to let this connection drift. They chose not to treat you like something temporary. They chose you intentionally. And that changes everything. Because when someone moves from feeling to choosing, their actions start to follow. They started noticing you differently, not just as someone they enjoy talking to, but as someone they could actually build something with. That word stayed with them. Build. Not rush, not force, not chase something unrealistic, but build something real, something steady, something that grows over time. They thought about your consistency, the way you show up without playing games, the way you don't try to impress, you just are. And that just being you has become one of the most powerful things about you. Because it makes them feel like they don't have to perform either. They can just be real. And that's rare. That's something people don't find easily. That's something people hold on to when they finally feel it. They caught themselves today doing something they didn't expect, protecting you. Not in a possessive way, not in a controlling way, but in a quiet, respectful way. When someone misunderstood you, they corrected it. When someone underestimated you, they spoke up. Not loudly, not aggressively, but with certainty. Because in their heart, they know your value, and they don't want that value to be overlooked.
That's when they realized something deeper. This isn't just about liking you anymore. This is about respecting you. And respect is what turns feelings into something lasting. Later that day, they had a moment alone. No distractions, no noise, just their thoughts. And somehow you were still there, not fading, not becoming distant, but clearer, stronger, more certain. They asked themselves a simple question: what do I actually want? And for the first time, the answer didn't come as a goal or a plan. It came as a person, you. Not because it sounded nice, not because it felt romantic, but because it felt true. That realization grounded them. It didn't overwhelm them. It didn't scare them. It made them feel calm. Because what they feel with you isn't chaos, it's peace. And peace is powerful. They started imagining small things, not big dramatic scenarios, but real moments. Talking to you at the end of a long day, sharing something random and knowing you'd understand, sitting in silence together and it's still feeling full. And that's when it became undeniable. You're not just someone they want moments with, you're someone they want consistency with. And consistency doesn't come from impulse, it comes from intention. So now they're thinking differently. They're not asking, what if this doesn't work? They're asking, when should I tell them? When should I show them? When do I stop holding back? That shift is everything, because once someone starts asking when instead of if, they're already moving closer to you. You may not see it yet, but it's happening. In the way they read your messages more carefully, in the way they remember small details you shared, in the way they pause before responding, not out of hesitation, but because they want to get it right. Because now it matters. You matter. And here's the part that makes this even more real. They're not trying to impress you anymore. They're trying to understand you, to connect with you, to build something that doesn't fade after a few moments. They don't want something temporary. They want something that lasts. And for the first time in a long time, they believe that could be with you. Tonight, they thought about being honest, completely honest. No filters, no holding back, just looking at you and saying what they feel. And instead of fear, they felt relief. Relief that maybe they finally found someone who won't misunderstand their heart. Someone who won't run from depth. Someone who won't turn something real into something complicated. Someone like you. That's why they're being careful, not because they're unsure, but because they care. They want the moment to feel right. They want you to feel safe when they open up. They want this to begin in a way that feels natural, not rushed. And that kind of intention is rare, because most people rush, most people react,